Drummers against implied timekeeping. Why is Ginger Baker great? I want to discuss with you the famous drummer from the 60s of the band Cream, Ginger Baker. As a disclaimer, this is my opinion, and my opinion only regarding this, so I'm asking those of you to just bear with me on what I'm explaining. Now, from a historical context, I had just started to play drums in 1967, 1968, and that is when Cream came out. So I had no idea of the technical aspects of drumming. I had just started learning, so I didn't know. I did know, though, that he was famous for some reason. I was only 10, 11 years old. I had heard that he was like Buddy Rich or something like that, but I didn't understand some of the aspects to what was going on at that time because I was just too young. But now that I'm been playing 48 plus years continuously, I can look back and kind of give you the specifics and the reasons of why Ginger Baker was great. I also want to kind of put him in context because of the time, a lot of pop music was very exciting because it was always different. There was lots of different styles at the same time. And so to look back on Cream, they were one of many other bands doing all kinds of different blues-oriented things and heavier rock-oriented things. The interesting thing is they were considered a supergroup, and Ginger was the equal of the three. There was Jack Bruce on bass and Eric Clapton on guitar. Now, when the first song that we had heard come out onto the radio, I of course had the radio on constantly, even then from when I was 5 years old, was Sunshine of Your Love. It was written by Jack Bruce and Mike Brown co-written. And what's always been extraordinary looking back at the song is normally every song was played on 2 and 4. Most songs are in 4/4 time. And the beat was usually done 2 and 4 with the snare drum, 1 and 3 with the bass drum. But on Sunshine of Your Love, it was inverted. Ginger played the rhythm on 1 and 3. And at the time, that was just extraordinary because no one had ever heard such a thing before. And it was creative. This was a kind of a landmark song for them because it was a breakout hit on the radio, if you can believe it. And the drumming on it was just really unusual for the time. And then just the basic verse playing on 1 and 3 was just, it stood out. I didn't know why at the time, but when we look back now, this was a very creative thing. But also, for drummers, at the end of Sunshine of Your Love, they kind of go into a vamp on the chord. And that's what I want you to key in on. Please listen to Sunshine of Your Love because of the way it's written and the way it's structured in 1 and 3 for the drums. And then at the end, that improvisational thing he's playing on it, on the vamp, on the chord, is just phenomenal because it's a very rhythmic, tribal, organic. It is heaviness personified, and he puts triplets with his double pedal. And it only lasts maybe 5 seconds, but you get an idea of how he was just thinking in terms of texture. And this is something that makes him great. The other thing I wanted to bring out about Ginger Baker was the next follow-up hit. I love saying they're hits because they were actually on the radio, played like any hit today. When you think about that, they could have never done such things with this type of music now that they were doing then. But they put out White Room. White Room is just a huge, monumental song because it starts off with the piece hitting kind of a heavy note, but it's in 5/4. dum, da, 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 dum, 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 dum. That's in 5/4. And then it goes into 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. In your white room. Just absolutely creative, fantastic. And I later found out that this was Ginger's idea. So that's a great idea to bring to the band. We'll start the song in 5/4 and then play the actual verse in 4/4. And you've got to give it to him for that. Just that alone was great. And now he plays the track White Room in just a kind of an interesting tribal sort of way. And the other thing that stands out now, looking back, and I want to stress this to so many young drummers, Ginger Baker, when he plays the track, he'll play a fill, and he doesn't crash the cymbal. He goes right back to the verse. And this is something that I've noticed in the past 30 years, drummers overusing cymbals. And I do have several videos I want you to look at in regards to cymbal articulation and the use of cymbals. Because drummers feel it necessary to play a fill and crash at the end of every fill. Rock drummers, of course, are most notorious, speed metal surely. But I want you to think in terms of the cymbal as a color instrument to be used sparingly. And this is why Ginger in White Room, he plays the fill. He doesn't hit the cymbal every time. And then when he does hit the cymbal, it has much more effect. So this is why I find him to be absolutely fantastic. Those two songs, amongst others, Tales of Brave Ulysses stands out. He has a drum solo that he's famous for called Toad, which I do not think is of the time compared to so many other drummers to be outstanding, but it is a good drum solo. And please listen to that on the live album, Wheels of Fire. So this is my view of Ginger. It is a hats off for him historically on his creative abilities. Unfortunately, those creative abilities were for a very short period of time. I think that for about 5 years, he really made a mark, but afterwards he did not. So he doesn't have longevity to his credit. But for the short time that he did play in Cream, he did outstanding things and should be acknowledged for it, all right? If you do have questions, feel free to ask me always. I'm on twitter.com/drummersagainst, facebook.com/drummersagainst, implied timekeeping. I'd like you to click like on that. And welcome to everyone coming into my channel for the very first time. I invite you to just go take a look at some of the videos where I'm discussing great drummers of the past, Ringo, John Bonham, and of course Ian Pace. But I have other drummers who are not as heralded, and I want you to look at those videos. And of course, I want you to subscribe to my channel. Your subscription is the support that I need to continue, and I thank you always. For those of you who have stayed with me from the beginning, I have a lot of the technical things coming. And this is the basis of my channel. Open-handed position playing is the name of the game. And I utilize a very unique concept, and I teach a very specific way. It'll add a lot of independence and hopefully creativity to your playing. So take the time to go through my catalog, all right? And so hats off to Ginger Baker. This is why Ginger Baker is great. 2 specifics in places that you should know about. And if you've not heard them, definitely go back, all right? My best to all of you for looking in, and I look forward to hearing from you.